All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another edition of the broadcast. This is the Thursday, July 2017 edition of the Global Reality. As always, I'm your host, Josh Reeves, and I thank you very much for being with us here again for another edition. Lots of different stuff to talk about here tonight. I'll, as always, do my best to get into what I can. If you haven't noticed, it's something that it's crazy. I don't know. It's a hard thing to explain. There is a lot of prep time and stuff that goes into every show that I do. Just always been like that. There's a lot of, but I don't necessarily map out, anything I'm going to talk about. I've always kind of been that way. And that's just the way I like to do it. I know that some people like it, some people don't, but I just like to, I've done shows with people like that. I've been on in the past when I first started doing interviews and stuff, radio shows. Not some shows that aren't around anymore, but I went on some. I remember going on a few shows, and a few hosts would it was always kind of bizarre to me how they would map out. We'll for 4 minutes and 37 seconds we will talk about the CFR. Literally, and like if it came to that minute and you still had something to say, too bad. He's moving on to the next subject. I thought that was a little extreme, a little forced. I mean, it sounds like the shit that is the shit that mainstream media does. Okay, we'll do a 3.5 minute segment on this and pack as much propaganda as we can in within 3 fucking minutes. Go, action. So, yeah, I like to, like I said, believe it or not, I there's a lot of pregame prep time that goes into these shows. It's just a necessary part of doing it. But oftentimes it doesn't even really matter. It just goes out the door because I just like to let it let it go where it takes me. It's because I used to do really. I feel like in the past, I mean, it's just a learning thing, But now that I've been doing this 10 years, I feel like in the past, in kind of the early days of doing the show, a lot of the shows that I did back in those days were what I would call forced shows. You know what I mean? Not to say that those weren't good shows. I mean, I've done a lot of great shows, but a lot of that stuff is what I call forced shows, and a lot of hosts, most hosts actually, 99% of hosts of shows like this do what I would consider forced shows where. And that's what happens. I mean, and that's okay. That has its upsides too, But I get this stuff all the time where people are like, "Oh, you need to label your shows and this, that, and the other." Like I don't know I should do that. I mean, it's a conscious decision not to do it. I've said this many times, but I have to say it again because I get people saying it all the time. It's a conscious decision. Okay, I'm not just ignorant of the fact that it would be more convenient for people if they knew what each and every show is about. Number one, I don't have the time or the desire to do that. And my shows are not, I don't do a forced show where like each show was like, okay, on this show today on the Global Reality, we're going to talk about chemtrails. This is the and we talk. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do a forced show where we get on a topic. I'm not going to do it. I'd rather not do a show. And since this is my show, my platform, I do things my way. So there you go. I just get tired of people saying that all the time. Oh, this, that, and the other. Why don't you go through the shows and listen to them and save them or get yourself a membership? Hey, that's a novel idea. Not many people do. But that's going away. We're about to completely do away with any you're gonna be getting 15, 20 minutes of each show, maybe at the most, on YouTube. I'm giving you a little time here. I'm giving you an extra day. Nobody's signed up for the membership. If you want to continue to get full shows, you're gonna have to sign up for the memberships. That's all there is to it. There'll be links in the here in this video on YouTube, and you can also find it at my website, vglobalreality.com. But yeah, I want the thing with my show is you never know where it's going to go. And I don't have any. As I said, I do some prepping and pre-planning of the show and whatnot, but for the most part, I like to let it go, see where it goes, and just have free form stuff. It's not very hard for you if you hear some information in a show. It's not very hard for you to get a membership, save the show, or bookmark it on YouTube, whatever, and make a little personal note what the show is about, or make a post on a video. If you hear some subjects in the show that you think people should hear about, make a comment on that video on my YouTube channel and say subjects covered in this show, this, and this. And then people can come back and people see the comments later, and then they'll know what's in the show. But I'm not going to go through each and every show. And I'm not every day going to say I talked about this in this show. So then you have the ability to selectively pick and choose. Oh, well, he's talking about these topics, so I don't want to hear that show today. Well, no, that's I'm not going to do that. Sorry. You want to listen to my show, you got to sit through every goddamn thing I'm saying, I'm talking about. If not, hit the road. Look, you got it good. That's the thing. You motherfuckers out there that don't, I'm not talking to you people that contribute and do support me. I'm talking to the people that don't. Y'all don't know any idea how good you have it. I could have fucking monetized this motherfucker out years ago with ads and Jew Gold and dick pills and everything else. I could sit there and talk for 10 minutes and make you sit through 15 minutes of commercial, but I don't, to my own detriment. But it may come to that before it's all over with. You never know. I've tried to, that's been my goal of this whole project, starting my own platform, my own network in 2009. It was to create something where it could just be pure, unadulterated talk and about the info, and not about selling you dick gold. And I saw somebody the other day say, "Oh, these radio shows are just they're just infomercials for the stuff, for their people's stuff that they sell," and they were applying that to me too. And you're right, that is true for the majority of a lot of hosts and guests and stuff. That is true, but it's I don't fall into that same category. I really don't. You can say that I do, but I don't. Because how many of those have been around that you're talking about that do that? How long have they been around? I mean, the show is been here so that I could try to relate to you. My knowledge, the stuff I experience, but again, it's just like anything. People take it for granted, and we just aren't getting enough people to support our work. We need more money in here for films, for new equipment, for everything. We tried to have the money bomb thing. It was a bust. Nobody responded to that, and yet we still get thousands and thousands of listeners to every show. And people just want to take and not support it. And I can't keep going any longer on this equipment that we've got over here. It's about it's on its last leg. I don't know if I'm going to be able to even finish this film before my computer dies or something. We're talking about old equipment here. Last time I had a new upgrade to my computer was when I got this Mac in 2011. So it's like a 7-year-old computer at this point. I mean, I got to get an upgrade in here. We need stuff for soundtrack purposes, new instrument stuff for that. That's what our 10-year anniversary fundraiser going on right now is all about. So definitely go and hit that up too. And we have a $100 goal we need to reach by tomorrow. You can hit the donate button at theglobalreality.com if you want to support that. Help us get that by tomorrow. But ideally, how this was, this thing was supposed to work when I first set it up was that, in exchange for not making you sit through and trying to sell you and have, people up here shilling products to you, instead we'd try to create something that, was truly by the people, instead of something that poses to be by the people. And then, of course, it's just secretly controlled by another corporate entity or, intelligence agency or what have you. So that's the thing. What I'm able to do is only limited by the resources that we have. And another thing, and I mentioned this a couple of shows ago, but I didn't really go on the full rant about it that I wanted to, but I'm not going to go over and rant about it now. I'm just going to mention it again because it just sucks. And I've mentioned it before, but I got to mention it again because it happened again recently, and it made me mad. It just bugs the shit out of me, people that make these huge claims, man. And they can't do it for any other reason than they're either trying to get my hopes up and they're trying to elicit some emotional response from me, either A or B. I don't know. I don't know what it is, but claimers, man. Fucking claimers. That's what I call them, claimers. People that make big, boisterous, loud, all caps claims about, big donations and this, that, and the other. And I say, great, let's, okay, let's do it. And then you never hear from them again. Remember a couple months back, remember we had that, I guess it was back in into April. I hadn't done a video broadcast in a while. And that chick was like, oh, I'll contribute $100, you do a video cast. And the next day was when operating costs were due and we needed it. And I was like, okay, so I did it. And then I've never heard back from that chick. It just makes no sense. That's what I'm talking about. But that was just $100. So I'm talking about other stuff. Like people saying, oh, I'll fund a dig or the rock wall, this, and then they never materialize. Or, oh, I have tons of money and you'll never have to worry about money again for your show and for your work and to buy equipment. Look, here's the thing. It just don't make claims, don't write checks your butt can't cash, period. That's the main thing. It's just, and I'm saying I wouldn't even be addressing this or bringing this up if this was something that just happened rarely, but it happens so often. I have to, I have to address it, man. It's sick. I just don't get it. But it's happened a lot, and it just bothers me, because look, you don't, just don't do anything, rather than to make claims that you can't stick to or don't stick to. It's kind of ridiculous. I don't know. I don't get it. I just don't get why people do it. But I've had a lot of people, especially the rock wall thing, 4 or 5 times I had people say they wanted to do digs, but it's a lot of money, man. People don't realize how much money it is. And I know that's part of it, but it doesn't even get to that stage where I even get to even tell them how much it costs. You just never hear back from them. I go, hey, you ready to do this dig now? Chirp, chirp, crickets. But I had somebody recently that said, well, let me see it. I won't give their name out. Where'd it go? Yeah, I just said, you can have all the money you need. I have all the money you need. I just came into money and, you helped me out when I was, in a bad time in my life. And they did contribute to the operating costs last month. And then, but, I said, okay, hey, let's talk. How do you want to help us? And they also said, let's dig up the wall and all that stuff. And then, I've heard nothing nary back. I mean, I just don't understand why people make these kind of claims like that. And then don't do anything. I mean, that's more frustrating than the people that just flat don't contribute anything at all than, for people to make huge claims like that. But I've had that happen several times. I had a guy that, donated back in a few years ago and kind of did the same thing, it was like, oh, well, it was, small amount or whatever. And then, oh, well, as long as you're telling the truth, you never have to, and putting out this info, you'll never have to worry about money again. And then I never heard from him again. It's just, it's bizarre. I don't know what the thing is. I guess people just, I don't know. I guess it's ego. Maybe it's they write checks. Their ego writes checks their asses can't cash. Is that what it is? I don't know. It's silly. Anyway, I'm not going to spend much time talking about that, but I just wanted to bring it up because it's frustrating when that happens, especially when you think somebody's serious about it. And I thought this person was serious about it, and I'm not mad at that person. I mean, I just think it's a little odd. It seems a little, I don't know, a little crazy, a little, I mean, why would you make a big claim like that? You know, and then just poof, poof, like a puff of smoke. Very bizarre. Very odd. I mean, you could always, this is the thing, if they ever wrote back and said, well, this, that, and the other, or this happened, that's cool. I mean, I understand that shit happens, whatever. But that's the thing is that never happens. None of these people that ever make these bold, boisterous claims ever come back and go, well, this fell through, or I didn't have as much money as. They're just like poof and be gone. You never hear from them again, like nothing. And I think most people that were in a situation where maybe they, because I've had that happen. People are like, hey, I'm going to donate, on Friday or whatever, and they're like, oh, I can't do it. Till Monday or whatever. Okay. And then they come back and they contribute whatever. I just figured it would be like that. But instead, these people that make these big boisterous claims and get your hopes up, when you get an email from somebody, especially with somebody you've heard from before and, stuff like that. And they've contributed to operating costs and stuff. So, you assume they're legit, right? And they make all these claims about, you'll never have to worry about money again. Well, like, oh, great. Well, here's a list. Here's our 10-year anniversary fundraiser. It's got a list and it's got all where you can buy the gift cards. You don't have to even contribute cash if you don't want. You can just buy the gift cards for the items we need. It's all listed on the campaign page there. And then you just send me the information because it's all electronic. Actually, you don't have to do that. You just put in my email address when you buy the gift card, and it sends it to my email address, and then I use it to get the equipment we need. But never heard back. Not an area, an excuse or why, or oh, sorry, or it fell through, or I didn't come into as much money as I thought I came into. But when somebody says, I got gold, I got silver, I got credit cards, I got cash, whatever you need, you never have to worry about money again. I could tend to get your hopes up a little bit, even though I try not to get my hopes about anything anymore, because anything I ever get my hopes up about always comes fucking crashing down every goddamn time. So yeah, I just think it's odd. I just think it's strange that people, people would do that. Just do what you do. Just do what you say you're going to do, or don't do anything at all. But don't open your mouth unless you're serious. Okay, that's all I'm asking. I'm not being unreasonable here. I'm not being a dick. I'm not coming down on anybody. I'm just stating as a fact, as a human being. Let's be civil and treat each other like human beings. I'm a person. People forget that. They think I'm just some personality, and they forget sometimes that I'm a real fucking person, man. And I have feelings, and I don't like I don't have my time wasted. I don't like being lied to, just like anybody else doesn't like that. That's the thing. The people that really do support my work, are the people that contribute to it, guess what? Guess how much shit they talk before they do it? Zero. That's right. None. They just do it, and that's it. And, I talk to them, communicate, whatever. I mean, it's just, but they talk zero shit before they do it. They don't say, oh, I'm going to, sometimes you get people, hey, I'm waiting until I get paid on Friday. I'll hit you up and contribute then. Okay. Yeah, I get that. And that's cool. But I don't get people who, make the people who do actually contribute on a regular basis and make this possible. And I'm grateful to all of you. Thank you very much from the bottom of my heart. They talk zero shit before doing it. They just do it. And that's what I think is interesting, So that's why, and there's, who knows how many, there's probably been opportunities like this I've probably missed. There probably is, and that's my luck too. You know what I mean? It's like the Alex Jones syndrome, like the boy that cried wolf syndrome, After this motherfucker cries wolf so many times, eventually you're just like, whatever, I've heard this shit before. I'm not going to fucking even pay attention. But then the one time that you're not paying attention is going to be the time you get fucked. So there's probably been opportunities like that. There's probably been emails I've gotten from people saying that. I'm like, whatever, dickhead, But put your money where your mouth is. That's the thing. Yeah, I'm thinking back on just through the whole 10 years of doing the show and stuff. Yeah, it's been like that. All the people who ever made big contributions and stuff in the past, have never talked any shit before doing it. Now that I'm thinking back, yeah, they've just been like, okay, here it is, and then we'll talk afterwards, or whatever. I'll send them an email and say thanks, but yeah, I just don't be a claimer. That's it. There's no reason to make claims. What else I got? I got a few things I want to mention here tonight. A lot of stuff I want to talk about. What else? What else? Oh, some of you may or may not know, but one of the other things that I do, I have sell gems and minerals and crystals. Kind of funny. I got an email. I think this email, from what he says in this email, this was kind of a joke email, but nonetheless, I'll still address it. He says, "Hey Josh, I appreciate your work. I have a question for you regarding these stones I have. I tried putting my moldavite and other stones outside for the full moon, but I don't feel anything different. I've had them for a month. What would you do to charge and program the stones correctly? Don't mind my email. I'm just trying to be humorous." It's kind of a strange email there, Mr. John. Your fucking email address is fucking crazy too. I'm not going to say what it is because I'm not going to give out your email address, but that's some Illuminati shit you got there for your email address there, son. I'm sure it's hopefully all in joke, but yeah, that's some. I'll just leave it at that. I won't say what his email address is, but that's some. Yeah, that's some Bavarian shit right there. Well, and here's my reply to him. I said, well, I'm not really one of those. I'm not really one of those that puts any stock in that myself. These minerals are all individually have their own energies created during their formation, and they retain these energies over eons before being dug up. That's true. So since energy can neither be created or destroyed, the idea that somehow you can drain these crystals simply by owning them and then recharge them in the moon or the sun or whatever, like it's some fucking iPhone, it's just a bridge too far for me. I'm sorry. More power to you if you believe in all that. I do believe in the metaphysical power for crystals. I do believe each one of these crystals have its own energies because I've felt them and experienced them myself. So it's absolutely real and true. But I'm not one of those. I can't help you as far as the charging. I've honestly to God have never noticed any difference after charging them in the sun. And some of them you don't want to put in the sun. I mean, don't go just willy-nilly putting any fucking crystals out in the moonlight or sunlight or anything, because some of them will bleach the color, aquamarine especially. If I do outdoor like shows and stuff, I like to have a covered thing over my table because I don't want to have my aquamarines out in the bright sunlight, because it will leach the color out of them. Absolutely, they'll turn pale quartz crystal clear in the sunlight. Rings and stuff like that with aquamarine, you don't have to worry about it. It's not that big of a deal. But yeah, if you have like a specimen and it's in direct sun, you don't ever want to have those in direct sunlight. But yeah, each crystal has its own individual energy. It was there for eons, millions of years. It was in the ground. Just because you took it out of the ground and you had it, whatever, and you're holding it or you had it. That is really arrogant for humans to believe that we can, I'm sorry. I mean, no offense if you're one of those metaphysical people that believes that, but that's where I draw the line. I just don't believe that you can drain any kind of energy out of a crystal and then, oh, it's a full moon. Well, better go put my crystal in the fucking moonlight like it's my goddamn iPhone. I'll charge it too. Oh, my phone's charging right now. Better go charge my other thing. Come on. That's a bridge too far. That's a bridge too far. But that was said, with my little gem and mineral business thing that I have, because all the shops, if you go to, they're either fucking new age, crystal hippie shops. They're charging goddamn 5 times the price those crystals should cost just because they're labeled metaphysical. And then you have, the specimen dealers and the crystal dealers. And God help you if you even remotely refer to anything metaphysical in their presence. I mean, they'll laugh you right out of their store. and I just felt like and that's still my goal. I want to eventually have my own shop. I mean, I want to open up a shop that sells a variety of stuff, crystals, musical instruments, guitars, and pedals and stuff that I make and build. Because that's another thing I'm going to be doing. Start my own instrument company making guitars and custom pedals and stuff like that, clone pedals and things. And books and stuff like that, and films, the type of stuff I'm into. That's my eventual goal. But anyway, I wanted to cater to both ends of it. So that's what I do. I try to cater to the people who are into them for the metaphysical purposes, and I cater to people who are into them just for the collecting purposes. And I haven't had any sales in a while. I'm having a summer sale on Let There Be Rocks on our Facebook page. Find us on Facebook at Let There Be Rocks. And I'm going to have a summer sale. I've got a lot of inventory, a lot of stuff I've had for a while. Got a lot of stuff I want to clean out. So I'm going to be posting a lot of jewelry, some specimens. So we've got some really awesome pendants, rings, all different types of crystals. We got a lot of moldavite rings. That listener mentioned moldavite. He said try to put it under the full moon. Well, here's the thing about moldavite. Moldavite is the only crystal that I've ever experienced where some pieces just won't resonate with you. When you're picking one out, the stuff that we've got in our rings right now is really good, powerful moldavite. But some moldavite, it just doesn't resonate with some people. It'll just feel dead to you. But then other people touch it. Each one responds to each person individually and differently. It's really a strange phenomenon. It's the only stone I've ever seen that with. Whereas it can feel just dead and cold and not have any energy to one person, and then to 5 people, and then the next person picks it up and oh my gosh, it's tuned towards. It's all about vibrations, and everybody's vibrations are resonating at different scale. I mean, that's where the whole term vibe comes from. It's bad vibes, man. Bad vibrations. Everything in the universe is vibrating, and everything that's alive is vibrations, and you can pick up those subtle vibrations. And moldavite, I mean, it's such a crazy thing anyway, because it's not technically, they call it a tektite, but it's not technically a tektite or a meteorite. It's not either one of those. And this is from like an extraterrestrial, like way out in space type of thing that crashed to Earth. And all the stuff that was around it, all the material turned to this green glass. It's only found in one area in the world, in Czechoslovakia. It's very, very powerful. Anyway, we've got all kinds of stuff. I've got smithsonite specimens. We've got amazonite, smoky quartz. We've got tons of stuff. I'm going to be putting a lot of stuff up on the Facebook page for Let There Be Rocks. So be on the lookout for that. And, that's a great way to help support our work here, and, if you want to we've got a lot of great rings. We've got some awesome pendants, all handmade stuff, all 925 genuine sterling silver. If you know people or want something if you're looking for something specific for a specific type of usage or purpose, you can just email me, globalrealityshow@gmail.com. If, one thing you can do, if you don't know what you want, but you want to buy some stuff, just let me know what it is you want to buy. You're looking for a ring, for multiple rings, you're looking for pendants, or you're looking for specimens. Let me know what you're looking for and how much you want to spend. If you don't know what you're looking for, but you have an idea of how much you want to spend, 100, 200, 300, whatever, just say, hey, I'm looking to get some stuff from Let There Be Rocks. I want to spend this much money. I don't really know what I want. I just want to know what I can get for this much money, and I'll take pictures and email you back with what I can get you into for that amount of money. That's the easiest way to do it if you want to make a purchase. I'll put some stuff, like I said, I'm going to put a lot of stuff up for sale on the Facebook page, so be looking out for that. We're going to be having a big summer sale. It's the first sale we've had all year, so it's a real good chance to get some good deals on some great pieces, and it also gives us an opportunity to be able to get new pieces in when we sell some. So please support our sale that we're going to be having and check that out. And again, if you want to, if you have an idea what you want to spend, but you don't have an idea what you want, just email me and I'll say, okay, for $200, I can get you this, this, and this. If you want a variety of things, if you want one piece that's $200, or if you want a variety of pieces that add up to $200, I can do that too. I'll custom design each and every order, and I do that for a lot of people, and it works out really good, man. People really have been happy with the things that I've helped them select, especially when you're looking for something in particular. Anyway, that's how you do it. Let There Be Rocks on Facebook. Check us out, and we'll be having our big sale over there. All right, man, what do I want to talk about now? I've been giving you the fall overdose lately because that's what the stuff I've been working on, and yeah, it just continues to be crazy. I'll tell you, it's interesting. Now that I've been on air, I've been researching for about 25 years. You technically say longer than that. I mean, I got into UFOs and Bermuda Triangle in 1985 when I was like in third grade or fourth grade. So, I mean, do the math. Really technically want to talk about, I've been researching more closer to about 32 years. But I'll tell you, in all my years of research, there's been, I can tell you unequivocally, that there are two subjects of which I've seen the most resistance to more than any other subjects that I've ever discussed or talked about or seen or anything else. And that is the fake moon landings and the fall thing, the Fall McCartney thing. And I'm not talking just about resistance or people not believing. I'm talking about where like the spooks come out to play, like where the spooks with no evidence come out on the attack. And I'd not seen that. Many years ago, I posted a clip. It got, I don't know how many views. It was a clip from, it was another one of those stumbling onto things. I stumbled onto it. There was this extras disc that came inside of the Star Trek film series Blu-ray and DVD thing. It's like a collection that has, all the original Star Trek movies, the ones with fucking Shatner and all that. And the whale one. He took too much LDS back in the hippie days. And there's a disc in there called The Captain's Summit, where they bring together, like, the next generation, some of the next generation guys, they get fucking, what's his name? Professor X and number one, I order you to go take a number two. Aye, aye, Captain. Fire the futon torpedoes and make us go that way. Anyway, they were all sitting around. Whoopi Goldberg was there too. And during this, he talks about Captain Kirk, William Shatner. He tells a story about going to NASA right before the Apollo mission, and he describes being inside what we now know to be these simulators that they set up to fake the moon landings. This was basically the stuff where was the Kubrick designed set pieces. That's what it was. They called them simulators, but they weren't simulators. This is the stuff they used to do it. I mean, they show it now, and they'll still say it's simulation, but they had, these huge lit up life-size models of the moon with camera tracks, and it's the camera on a track technology that later George Lucas, who said Stanley Kubrick was his biggest influence, he later used this technology. It was not used again. It was used on the moon landings, on the fake moon landings. They didn't use it again until what movie? The very first Star Wars movie in 1977. That camera track stuff, using the models to do those trench shots where they're going into, Luke, you've turned off your targeting computer. What's wrong? Into the Death Star and all that. that was all using that same technology. And in fact, in the prequel trilogy, and I posted a picture of this in the Secret Messages film series I did. Lucas confirms that by dropping a little Easter egg hint in there. Remember that Watto guy from the prequel trilogy? The guy who looked like a fucking blue horsefly and talked like a I don't know, a Jewish swap meet stand. Hey, Annie! You'll make me a good deal, eh? Anyway, Watto, I think was his name, yeah. In his junkyard, you see the capsule from 2001: A Space Odyssey. It's in Watto's junkyard in Star Wars. Just slipped in there. That's what that's a reference to. Going back to that. But Shatner was brought in and they put him in the actual capsule that they ended up using to do it. And they flew like a model of the Starship Enterprise over while he was editing stuff. And he was just blown away by how realistic it was. And he walked out of it, and there was thousands of NASA scientists, and they were all standing there clapping. And it's just eerie. Why would they be clapping? Because they, it was that realistic. They put Captain Kirk in there. Here's this guy who works on movie sets for being out in space, and he comes out of this so-called simulator that they use to fake the moon landings, and he was just blown away by it. And he relates his story. So I put up the clip of the video. This is a long time ago, 2008, 2009, something like that. I put this up. And boy, I mean, other than just recently, most recently, I've never seen this kind of reaction again to anything I've ever posted, where it's not people who are my listeners who are the ones who were saying it's bizarre to think of. This is how you know they're spooks and they're feds and they're people who are trying to keep this, because think about it. Any video that I post, if you don't agree with something, that means that these people they have stuff set, keyword programs and stuff set to alert them anytime any videos get posted with these keywords in it. Right? Which I get if you're wanting, if I'm interested in Led Zeppelin videos or whatever, and I want to get alert every time a new Led Zeppelin video gets uploaded or something. Okay, great. Set that. The new Led Zeppelin video gets uploaded. Boom, I get an alert about it. But these people are setting up alerts, it seems like. That's the only logical thing you can say, to alert them for things that they don't agree with. Now, who would do that? You know what I mean? If you're not a fan of Condi Rice, George Bush, Donald Trump, Barack Obama, whoever, if you don't, just pick one, right? Just think of the person you loathe the most in the world. You're not going to sit there to set an alert for every time something is posted with the person you hate, right? But that's what happened. I noticed that with that moon landing thing, it's like these are people who have it automatically set. Anytime any new info comes up on the moon landing thing, they are set to attack. I can't tell you how many. I had to eventually just shut the comments down and everything. I was getting met. People were like threatening me. People were like all this crazy shit, calling me mentally ill for just for doing nothing but posting a clip, cutting it out of something that was already there and posting it. I'm mentally ill for doing that. And I've never seen it happen again like I seen it happen on that Star Trek until recently when I posted the videos about the fall stuff where George is talking to Fall about when he joined the band, and then the following clip where he says, he reinforces that I joined the Beatles as an already set up affair. I didn't even know how to start a band when I started Wings. I'd never done it before. Bullshit. And then people try to say, oh, he's talking about the Quarrymen. No, go watch Beatles Anthology and you'll see that that's false. The Quarrymen was a totally separate group. They wanted to start a group. They had totally different members. They wanted to start a new group. And John and Paul were the original founding members. Paul and George lived right next to each other. So George brought Paul in after that, and then later on they got Ringo. But same type of response from that video of the George Harrison one. Same exact response in the exact same way. People who were commenting and trying to negate the video, who didn't find it because they're fans of my work or didn't find it because they wanted to know anything about, the fake Paul. They have it set so when fake Paul stuff comes up, they can immediately pounce on it and try to downplay it. And then you remove the comments, and then they send you, oh, you're a coward, you punk. Oh, I'm going to get you, and all this shit. So, I just wanted to report that and tell people, let you know that, and again, of all the topics I've covered, chemtrails, I'll tell you, chemtrails comes in a hard third. I'm just really talking top two, but you want to do, top five or whatever. Yeah, chemtrails comes in a hard third. Chemtrails is another one that, boy, people really don't want people to believe in that. And look, I hate to have to break it to you, regardless of what these cocksuckers like Joe Rogan and all these other CIA-controlled plants have to say about it, they're absolutely real. They've been going on for a long time. Has there been false stuff said about chemtrails too? Of course. There's always, with any subject, especially when you start getting closer to the truth, that's when you start to find the more of the muddying of the well. And with the fake moon landing thing, with the fall thing, with the chemtrails, yeah. JFK, 9/11, there's any subject. There's an extreme amount of the muddying of the well to where people just don't know what to believe, what not to believe, and that's done intentionally. A lot of muddying of the well has gone on this fall thing. I'll tell you what, continues to go on. And again, as I've said, it's not a claim. I'm not a claimer like some of these other people are. It's not a claim. In this film, we're finally going to show you why that is. I'm going to show you why they've been muddying the well the way they have with the whole fall thing. It's truly astonishing. It's truly astounding. This is again, as I said in the last show, this is really one of those very unique finds that, nobody's onto this yet. Nobody, and I figured it all out. It's just, it's truly one of those, like, planting the flag at Plymouth Rock type moments, man. It's frustrating. I can't tell you yet because I got to save for the film and for what I'm going to be doing after it comes out. But I have to tell you, it's not exaggeration, folks. This is a true, this is one of those true finds that is going to be associated with me. There's no way anybody else, because I've scoured the entire internet. Nobody's come close to this. No one's even figured this out yet. Not one single person. It's been sitting right in front of everybody's noses, and I guarantee you, when I come out with it, you're going to see a lot of people claiming that I knew it all along, or I thought maybe that was the case years ago. I just never said anything about it. You're going to see a lot of that. I'm telling you, folks, I've scoured the internet. Nobody knows about this yet. Nobody. I've only told one other person on the fucking planet. So me and one other person know about this right now. Yeah, this is a true, one-of-a-kind, unique Josh Reeves discovery. And there's, like I said, there's a couple of these in this film, but this one with who the old Paul became, it's more crazy than you can even know. It really is. And I even, at first I was like, come on, no. It does make you go, nah. And then I found even more clues. It's astonishing. But it's been right there. They've laid it out for us, but all the clues have been there. But when you watch this thing, you're going to truly, you're going to, the same thing it happened with the Spellcasters Volume 1, That's the biggest amount of compliments and emails and messages I've gotten about a film that have all been the same ever has been for Spellcasters. People going, dude, like fucking Scooby Doo, we would have got away with it too. Would have been for you meddling kids. I had a lot of comments like that. People say, them motherfuckers almost got away with this shit till Josh Reeves stepped up. Just stumbled into this shit. That's how it happens. You're on to one thing and, get you on to know another. I was going to mention, I guess it was a month or two ago, I talked about this phenomenon of me noticing several years, some years ago with different movies and stuff that come out, how a lot of ones that get tanked and don't get promoted correctly and become flops, a lot of them tend to have stuff in them, info in them. I was talking about the most recent movie, the Tom Cruise movie, The Mummy. And I said, I bet this has got some stuff in it, And then I read the synopsis, and yep, it does. And some of our listeners watched it and wrote to me about it and said, yep, you're right. It's got some shit in it. I mean, it still sucks dick through, sucks shit through a dick hole just like I predicted it would, but it has got some shit in it, though. It definitely does. And just this whole thing where now they're fictionalizing people in the military and in black ops, going in ancient Middle East and, stealing Anunnaki artifacts. Only in this one, they do you one better. They put an ancient Egyptian tomb in the middle of the, what was it? It's in Iraq. But they even say it. It's like the Nineveh district or it's one of the Anunnaki names. They say it in the movie. They say the Nineveh province or one of those. It may have not been Nineveh, but one of those. But they say the name. That's, that's an Anunnaki name that they use. And the Egyptian tomb is there. And, of course, Tom Cruise and that other dude. I can't figure out if that other dude is Poe Dameron from the other Star Wars they made, or if that's the dude from another. I don't know. That dude's got a twin in Hollywood. There's these two guys. There's the guy that plays Poe Dameron in Star Wars, and this other dude that's been in other movies, and they kind of look alike. I can't ever tell them apart. And they're always in movies all the time. But another thing about that movie. I mean, on top of all the obvious Egyptian stuff and fictionalizing the truth, so the truth seems like fiction yet again. But it's interesting, because all that stuff, 9/11 was really the catalyst that allowed them to go in, and because that's the first thing they did when they, during the invasion of 2003 in Iraq, they did not pass go, they did not collect $200. They went directly to the Iraq National Museum, blew right past all the decoys and all the fake replicas that they have in the museum, went straight to the vault. It's all on video, folks. They C4'd Special Forces, U.S. Special Forces, C4'd the vault, went in, blew the thing open. When they go in, you know what's in there? They had the gin bottles in there. That's one of the biggest things. Yes, they had Iraqi, or they had ancient cuneiform cylinder seals and all the ancient Anunnaki relics and artifacts in there, but thousands upon thousands of gin bottles, that supposedly hold demons and spirits, going back thousands of years. It was like they just put them in there. And that's been one of the things I've speculated about. Were they going in there to unleash some demon or something like that? And that's sort of I don't want to give the movie away, well, that's sort of the theme in this movie. It's these guys that were like, high-level military, and they're going in and getting ancient antiquities from ancient Iraq and selling them on the black market. And they call it an airstrike and basically blow up this town in Iraq, and then they find this ancient Egyptian tomb in the middle of Iraq. And, of course, yes, it has to do with demon possession and demon possession and stuff like that, and a demon that was being held, and kind of like the djinn comes into play. That's all in there. And another thing, a device they use in this movie that they used a whole lot post 9/11. They didn't ever use it beforehand. And I know you all have seen this. I can't even name you all the movies. Assume they've done it in a lot of Marvel movies. A couple of the Avenger movies, I think. There's been a whole shit ton of movies where they use like the smoke device. It's like the alien comes in or something, and the way the smoke billows through the streets, they make it look just like 9/11. And you'll see buildings come down, look controlled demolition style, come down just like the Twin Towers. You'll see that a lot of movies now. But one of the things that a lot of people don't talk about when it comes to 9/11 is, and I've talked about it a lot, is the fact that the stuff that was underneath the towers, like, people talk about the gold. Obviously, the gold was shipped off to China. But there was billions of dollars worth of, vaults worth of drugs, and there was a vault containing all these ancient Sumerian Anunnaki artifacts in the vault in the World Trade Center, and nobody knows where they went. They were never recovered, but they were there. And it was admitted they were there. But where they were at and where they were located, they wouldn't have been destroyed by the towers coming down. They would, everything would have come down around it. They would have dug it out and uncovered it from this massive, impenetrable vault they were in. But the vault and all the stuff in it was gone. And interesting that they referred to those, to the Twin Towers. Obviously they referred to as Jackie and Boaz, and also as Nelson and David from the Rockefellers. But they were also referred to as Enlil and Enki. And they had these ancient artifacts down there. And one of the things that people have seen, you might have seen this, the images of like the demon faces coming out of the smoke. One of which particular looks a lot like the demon Ahriman, which goes back to, the ancient Middle East. And you see that in this movie, The Mummy. You see all the buildings, the demons like unleashed, right? And you see the smoke. It looks just like, people running from the buildings on 9/11. It looks just like that. They do this often as a device in movies. They've done it a lot. Again, I can't name all the examples they've done it, but you've seen it. I know if you've watched any movies in the past fucking 17 years, you've seen this. But what was interesting about this is not only did they use the smoke and the imagery that looked like 9/11, they also used the demon face Ahriman thing coming out also. So it was there were a lot of clues and a lot of hints. It's not the greatest movie you ever seen, but I suggest watching it just so you can see the things that they encoded and put into this movie. Because there's too many for me to detail and tell you all about. But again, don't expect cinematic greatness here, but it just proves my point and why I brought the movie up originally when it came out. Is and it again. I have tons more examples of this, and I'm sure we'll continue to see examples of this. That's why I went and saw that movie, The Circle, because somebody had said, "Oh, it seems like it's like kind of about Scientology and stuff." So, and then I heard it got shit reviews and tanked. I was like, "Well, I better go see it." Go find a cheap showing and go see it, because 9 times out of 10 when this happens, and it didn't really have anything in it. I talked about it. It didn't really have anything in it like what I was expecting. They were definitely drawing correlations and trying to make this thing, The Circle, be like a cross between, if you merge Scientology and Google and Apple. But I did think it was interesting that there was a little fall reference in it, which kind of made it synchronistic for me to go see, because I was really going to see it because people said it seemed like it was kind of Scientology tinged, because there's a thing in the movie, they go transparent, and it allows everybody to see every movement they make every single day. It's online being broadcast. Kind of like Going Clear, but this is transparent. And yeah, the Hermione Granger is like, getting her little interview for the job. And one of the questions is favorite Beatle. And without hesitation, she says, early Paul, later John. And if you know, if you've been paying attention in class, children, that would probably just go over the, heads of most people. But that's a direct reference to fall. Because yes, the early Paul stuff was good and the later John stuff was good. But boy, let's not even talk about silly love songs. My God. Long before I've always, I did actually see Fall in concert one time with a friend, like 2001 or something. I didn't know anything about the Fall stuff back then, but I was never really big on Paul McCartney even before I ever knew about the Fall stuff. I was never big on him. In fact, musician friends I used to hang out with back then, we started this thing. I still do it. I still say it all the time. I've told other friends and family members and stuff about it, but this was a core group of friends that I did this with for many years. And we came up with this thing we called the Macca Nightmare. Macca, if you don't know, is the nickname for Paul McCartney, right? So we came up with this thing, the stuck in the Mac. So, okay, here's what it entails. If you get stuck in the Macca Nightmare, being stuck in the Macca Nightmare means that you are in a social situation where a Paul McCartney song comes on, and because of the circumstances, you are unable to do anything about it, right? So what we do is whenever it's funny, you would be shocked at how many times this can happen to you in a short amount of time if you're really paying attention. It can happen to you a lot. And now that I say it to you, every time that's the curse. See, now I'm cursing you. See, every time you tell somebody about the Macca Nightmare, you are ensuring that at some point very soon, they will be stuck into the Macca Nightmare. So instead of me doing it to one person, now I'm doing it to thousands of people. Ha 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 ha. You're right. You're going to be stuck in the fucking Macca Nightmare now. And so that's what we would do. We'd be like, we'd call each other or we would hang out. We'd be like, hey, man, did you get stuck in the Macca Nightmare this week? And you'd either be no or yeah, I did. Let me tell you. It'd be a story like it's hilarious. Try it sometime. Try it sometime with your friends. You curse your friends with it too. The Macca Nightmare. Boy, I tell you, there ain't nothing worse. I've had them. Oh, I got some good ones. I've had the ultimate, actually. I've been stuck in the ultimate what I consider to be the ultimate Macca Nightmare. Actually, the ultimate Macca Nightmare would be stuck being in the same room with the guy, like fucking stuck in an elevator with him for like a day. Oh, that'd be the ultimate Macca Nightmare. But the ultimate Macca Nightmare for me is being stuck, waiting in a long-ass line around the holidays, especially on Christmas Eve. You're at an electronics store. You're going to get a last-minute gift for somebody. You get what you need. You go to where the goddamn line that looks like it's a line to get in to see fucking, Bruce Springsteen at Madison Square Garden in 1978. It's like fucking wrapped around for 2 miles. They're playing Christmas music. Not only are they playing Christmas music, you're stuck in the line. Fucking simply having wonderful Christmas time. Fucking Paul McCartney comes on. And not only does it come on and play, but while you're waiting in line, something goes wrong with whatever it is, the music or whatever. And it gets stuck and it just plays the Macca song like 3 times in a row while you're waiting in line. Motherfucker, that happened to me one year. It fucking that is the fucking true Macca Nightmare right there. That is stuck in the Macca Nightmare, but it could be any situation. Like for instance, let's say you go out on a date with somebody. You're going out with a new person, and like you're talking about their interests or whatever, and Paul McCartney song comes on the radio and they're like, "Ooh, I love this song," and they crank it up and you're like, "Oh God," and you want to be like, "Oh, fucking can't stand it. I want to turn it." I actually, funny story. This is honest God true story. I had a chick one time that was all into me, that wanted to go out with me, and I started getting to know her, started talking to her, and so of course, with me, of course, I'm going to talk about music, and what music do you like? And of course, she's start talking about the Beatles, and that's the usual thing. A lot of people like the Beatles, but with her, she was specifically a fan of Fall, specifically, including Wings and all that stuff. I mean, it was just a bridge too far, dude. I mean, like first time she emailed me, her email was like, I don't know, like Maca lover something. I was like, oh God, no, you even got like even your email, like everything, right? Maca dish towels and fucking Maca bathrobe and like I mean, really? Someone would go over to your place and you're trying to get it on. I'm gonna have to see Maca's fucking face staring at me every Maca pillowcases. I mean, that's a bridge too far for me. Really. I mean, I don't care. I don't give a damn if she was a 10. And this girl was not a 10. But but nonetheless, still, it was a deal breaker. Can't do it. If you meet me and your favorite Beatle is Paul or Fall, I gotta have much in common. But yeah, the Maca Nightmare, I'm telling you, it's real. The Maca Nightmares are once you know about it, you'll notice it. And you will find yourself in the Maca Nightmare. You probably have. Many of you out there probably have Maca Nightmare stories. You get stuck in the Maca Nightmare, dude, it's the worst thing. It's you can't get out of it. That one, though, I think that one that took the cake that year, though. I was at an electronics store. What electronics store was it? It wasn't Best Buy. It was Micro Center. I don't even know if you guys probably know what that is. Probably just something we have locally. Anyway, there's here locally in Dallas, but that's what it was, Micro Center. And the line was epic. Oh, God, it was epic. And yeah, something happened with her music or something. Simply having... I mean, it just makes you want to go out and step in front of a fucking reindeer. There's nothing worse. That's one of the worst songs. That and the fucking silly love songs. Ugh. Oh, don't forget about Say, Say, Say with Michael Jackson, too. That's another one. Oh, that's vomit-inducing. Didn't he do... yeah, he did. He did fucking Ebony and Ivory with Stevie Wonder. Ugh. Oh, God, he's terrible. That dude just flat sucks. Flat sucks. Oh, it's terrible, man. Let me see how. What else do I want to talk about? Got a bunch on my list here. Oh, no, I'm definitely not talking about that. That would give away the identity of the... I've had people guessing. Somebody guessed Eric Clapton. It's not Eric Clapton. Sorry, bud. Would I tell you if you guessed it right? Yeah, if you did, I would PM you and be like, hey, yeah, that's it. I can't say anymore, but no. Sadly, no, sir. Clapton is not it. But George and Eric were very good friends. I mean, you want to talk about non-attachment to the material, plain reality. I don't think anybody could do it better than George Harrison. I mean, Jesus. Eric Clapton stole his wife, not his girlfriend, his wife. And, there are stories. He was cool about it, but there's more to it than anybody's. I mean, he wasn't that cool about it. He was still pissed. But, yeah, he did eventually, say, hey, I'd rather her be with Eric, my friend, than be with some creep, so. What else we got here? Oh, George did get a good end of the deal, though. But, boy, man, sorry to get graphic with you here, but that woman, Patty, whew, she must have had some extra good vajay. I mean, it just must have been fucking steel trap or something, dude. Think about it. I mean, Harrison wrote something the way she moves. He wrote that song about her, right? And then fucking Clapton wrote Layla about her. And then George turned around and wrote What Is Life on All Things Must Pass about her. And Martin Scorsese, who directed a great George Harrison documentary, used both of those songs. He used Layla and What Is Life, both in the movie Goodfellas. There may even be more, but those are three off the top of my head that I know for sure, for a fact, were all three written about her. God damn. That's three of the fucking best songs probably ever. All written about this one woman. Boy, she must have had the magical vajay, because Eric Clapton ended up giving him, it was like an even trade. He was like, well, I feel bad, I took your woman, so here, I'm going to give you my guitar. And he gave George the 19, I really want a replica of this. It was a 1957, it was red, 1957 Gibson Les Paul, the weeping Les Paul named Lucy. The pickups in that thing is what gave it that, what they call that sort of that, the woman tone. It's sort of that, that weeping tone, man. While my guitar gently weeps, kind of that sound with 57 Les Paul. Have any idea what that fucking thing's worth? I mean, I think George came out pretty good on that deal. I mean, there were a lot of fine looking women in the world, but there ain't too many of those guitars. That's just the truth. Alex Jones says he's under criminal espionage investigation for alleged Russia ties. And, of course, he's crying, oh, there's just mainstream coming after us, buddy. You are mainstream. The cognitive dissonance and the lies and the bullshit is not working on people anymore. Everybody has figured you out. We all know, of course, now that you're an actor. But it's just hilarious. I mean, I was talking back in 2011 in my film, The Secret Right, Volume 2. I was exposing the connections to Russia Today and how it's a KGB-owned news outlet, and you had Luke Radowski and Jerome Corsi and all these, Fetzer, everybody. All these truther clowns on there. I mean, it's just insane. But, of course, the FBI and all this stuff looking into it, they're not going to find shit because it's like the Fox, it's like the fucking... I don't know what the analogy is. Forget it. But it's like a dog sniffing its own ass. There you go. There you go. There's a good analogy for you. It's like a dog sniffing its own ass. What are they going to find as a result of sniffing their own ass? They're going to find their own shit. That's what they're going to find. Because all that ever happens in these kind of FBI investigations, especially when it goes into people like Jones and others who are high-level operatives, the trail goes cold once they figure out the person they're investigating is part of an ongoing high-level operation way above their pay grade, and they say, well, we never found anything. That's what's going to happen with this. Watch. I'm predicting it right here, right now. They're going to have their little so-called investigation. Jones is going to fucking rant and rave about this. He's going to say that it proves why he's right. Then they're not going to find anything because, again, if you're a dog sniffing your own fucking ass, you ain't going to find anything but your own shit, right? So if they sniff their own ass, they're only going to find their own turds. Jones. So nothing's going to come of it. If the FBI really wanted to look into this, they would look into, I mean, if I'm able to find this on my own and was able to find this for my film, The Spellcasters, the FBI of all people should be able to find this, right? All the stuff about going back to Scientology's the key. If they don't pull the thread on Scientology as far as this Russia connection thing goes, they're never going to uncover it. And, of course, they won't uncover it because it's all smoke and mirrors and show for the public to digest, to further the false left-right paradigm and the phony political divide-and-conquer system. That's what it's all about. But if they really wanted to find the Russia connection, they would go and they would look at the connections with the Scientology thing, because L. Ron, back in the Cold War days, back in the 60s, 50s, 60s, they were using these safe houses. They were supposed to be transmitting high-level OT levels. They were using them to sell secrets to the highest bidder, specifically to the Russians. That's what was going on back then. And yes, this has to do with white supremacy. Look into the whole, I don't have time to get into it, but go look into, all the Eastern European Ashkenazis and their role in the, so-called New World Order and the Illuminati, and then go back and look at, the Caucasus Mountain region. And, yes, it's about all of that. Absolutely it is. But all this stuff, that they're doing for public show is just another way to strengthen their ongoing psychological operations and their ongoing operators like Jones and others. It's just another way to strengthen that. That's all it is. All right, that's all I got. I'll see you back here tomorrow for the show. We have a $100 goal we've got to reach by tomorrow minimum, folks. But we really would like everybody to go and support our 40th or 10-year anniversary fundraiser so we can get some new gear. And so it'd be great to get this stuff, at least some of this stuff, some of the music gear stuff, whatever. It'd be nice to be able to get some of this new gear in here before the actual anniversary in September so that we could use it towards Spellcasters 2 and make this film even better, because honestly, the amount of info and the quality of the info and what I'm going to be presenting this film, I really need to make this thing as high quality as I can. I really do. But we really could use some other gear and just resources, man, to do it. Because, when I first started working on this, I didn't know all the things I know now and hadn't discovered all those things yet. I thought it was just going to be kind of a standard part 2, and really be about the music business. But and I guess it's a good thing. I just never dream and never have dreamed I would have uncovered as much as I have. And it has gone as far as I have with this. It's just, it really, truly is going to be, I think it's, I hate to say, I hate to even say it, because it just sounds like hype, and it sounds like, because I'm not an ego-driven person, and I don't like puff myself up. I usually think I'm a big piece of shit most of the time, really. But honestly, I think this is going to be, it's going to be the greatest conspiracy, whatever you want to call it, type film ever made. I mean, I really think it is. The info is on that level. But I'm nothing if we don't have, budget and resources to do it. So stand with me. I need you. I'm putting the call out. Let's do it. I'll see you next time, guys. I love you. Take care.